Welcome back to the episode of Unrated Podcast. Big weekend in sports. If you're a Michigan and or Detroit Lions fan, obviously Lions just clinched the division for the first time in 30 years this past Sunday. So we'll dive in and talk about that a little bit. That victory over in Minnesota against the Vikings. Then also talk about their matchup in primetime Saturday night playing the Cowboys for all of America to tune into. And then when it comes to Michigan, we'll definitely dive in on a game that we feel like we've been waiting forever for. Rose Bowl is finally around the corner. Kickoffs at 5 o'clock Eastern time on Monday. So we'll just talk about just the keys, what we think they need to do in order to handle business and come away with a semifinal win against Bama. I'll kick it over to you. Just starting off with the Lions and clinching the division this past week. What were your thoughts on that game overall?
No, I think it was a great thing to happen. Obviously Christmas Eve, a lot of America sitting around watching. I sat around and watched it with a bunch of family members. It was just good to see. First time in 30 years. So I want to start out with that on the road, playing a team that was definitely a team that isn't laying down. They're still fighting for things. Things were still kind of in motion for them in the middle of that game. That's the Vikings, that is. So in general, it was good just for them to go there and take care of business. A little bit of shaky. You would have wanted to be a little more clean. You would have wanted your defense, although they did get a lot of turnovers, they also got torched from time to time, just letting a kind of a no-name quarterback move the ball on you, run up and down the field. So there were areas of concern, definitely, but it also seems like this team finds ways to win, find ways to just stay in the game, getting timely turnovers. That offense chugging along very well throughout most of the game. So, just all good signs, but somewhat alarming just how, average that defense can look from time to time. Just,
Yeah.
I think people have their number on us. They know what we can do and what we can't do. And it all really depends on what type of weapons they have to come to play with. And I think when you get a team like a Justin Jefferson, a quarterback with nothing to lose, just to throw it up as many times because what does he have to lose at this point? You're going to give up some big plays. You're also going to get some big plays. So I kind of just if you're going to rack up a playoff win or two, or possibly more than that, you're going to have to really tighten things up on defensive unit.
Yeah.
You come back to a bend, don't break. Things you always point out, your offense is going to have to help them out. Run the ball a little more. You got two workhorses back there. Uh, how many games did Montgomery miss? 2 or 3 games, but he's still gonna have 1,000 yards. And then you got
Yeah.
Gibbs, who we were
Trending that
using
way.
very, very gingerly at the beginning of the year, approaching 1,000 yards as well. So I think we just have to lean into that, which is all ultimately going to help create big plays offensively as far as passing goes. But I do want to tip my hat to them. They got it done
Hmm.
versus a team that was still fighting for some things, and we came to play on the road in a tough environment. So overall, great just to get that division win, first time in 30 something years.
Yeah.
That's not even going to look right in the stadium next to everything else. There's going to be like one from 93 and then 2023. But, finally got a little bit of, for lack of a better term, hardware to talk about. And
Hmm.
now it's time to go and try to make the most of the rest of the season.
Yeah. I echo a lot of those things. I'll start with I mean, I just feel like the circumstances, seeing that division opponent for the first time all season. Um, and for me, you're as a fan, you're just proud because there's so many times you've seen the Lions in similar moments. We talked quite a bit about last year, how they blew the division in Minnesota last year before they even knew that they'd have a chance at it to end the season. But then now, just that spot, I'm not gonna lie, there are some nerves. We play the Vikings 2 out of the last 3 games, had to start, in Minnesota, and then having that potential of having to, not being able to clinch until the last game of the season. That was all up in the air, before that game started. But I'm just glad that they came out there, handled business. Like you said, it was a little rocky. Offense, I mean, we can shoot out, we can put anybody, on offense. Offense has been humming. Like you said, yeah, defense, it's the last few weeks we've gotten lucky with just being able to get some turnovers here and there. I mean, we had 4 turnovers against the Vikings. Had we played the Broncos. We had turnover. We've been able to kind of like get a convenient stop here and there. That kind of just gives us enough time to maybe go up a score or two. On a team. Granted, with that Broncos game, we were just a better team from that standpoint, but. We've been able to kind of hang in there just from like a big splash play, standpoint. I do like to see that we're getting a little more pressure, getting some sacks here and there. It was like a good like cold streak for about a month where they weren't getting really any type of pressure at all. But like you said, they got to continue to just work to tighten that up because it does feel like teams just kind of know what they can get against us. And the Cowboys, they're probably one of the better passing attacks in the league. We're luckily going to be getting. I know I said a couple weeks ago we'd be getting C.J. Gardner-Johnson back, but it's looking like maybe not until last game of the season. But we are potentially going to be getting James Houston back this week. So hopefully, we getting the full strength on defense that can give us the shot in the arm we need going into the playoffs to steal a couple games, maybe more than that. So we'll see how things kind
Yeah,
of roll in for here.
I think you make a good point with just the defense, and I guess I would say, and I at least I believe this is true. It's hard to count on turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
Sometimes defenses they're some defenses are more apt to get turnovers than others, and maybe obviously a player or two can be a ball hawk, but in general, that's probably the thing you can depend on the least amount when it comes to a defense. So
Yeah.
I would say you have to get creative on getting in that backfield, on creating negative plays for the offense, whether it's tackles for loss, getting teams off the chain, to get them in weird predicaments, uh, getting that quarterback sacked. And I think that comes with just getting creative defensively. Whether we got one of the best young pass rushers in Hutch, and he's been idle as far as sack goes for 6 weeks now. 6
Yeah.
weeks ago, Hutch was on pace for 17 sacks. Hutch now is on pace for probably 7 sacks, and he's sitting at 5.5, and he has been for weeks. So,
Yeah.
individually, people like him have to just, we know what's happening to you, and you have to overcome.
Find a way.
Yeah,
And
you
be
just
put
have
in
to find a
spots
way
to
because that's
find a
what
way.
great players do. They
Yeah.
like you did in that Chicago game. You have to do that this week at in Cowboys. You have to do that in the first playoff game. You have to just find ways to capitalize on whatever opportunities you do have. And then from the coaching standpoint, obviously we just miss tackles from time to time. We just make boneheaded plays defensively from time to time. But you do got to
Yeah.
get a little creative, particularly when people are dropping like flies on your defense. Um, I'll be honest. I don't know if you're ready to transition to the Cowboys or not, but with us, not getting that much pressure um, from the D line, and now Cam Sutton's gone, Gardner Johnson not back yet, and I'm beginning to wonder, you know, Cowboys center licking their chops. I best believe that they think they can run it up on
Yeah.
us, and I want to know what we're going to do from an individual player standpoint and from a coaching standpoint to make sure that we make noise defensively, and just find ways to be disruptive. You're going to be on the road again, very hostile environment. They think they're a Super Bowl type caliber team. They're as far as they're concerned, they think they're a more just we're just in their way as they're showing for the launch.
Mm-hmm.
You got to come ready to play, and this game could be a big thing for who we ultimately play, seeding in the playoffs, just making it an easier path for you to win another game or two. You're gonna have to do it eventually. You're gonna have to beat a hard team eventually. But this is the difference between getting it out the way now and maybe playing a little easier team come first round of playoffs, or losing this and still having to play a hard team like the Cowboys in first round of playoffs anyway. So if there are no easy paths. It's just if you continue to win, you get to control your destiny a little more and not be at the leisure of everybody else of what happens. So,
Mm-hmm.
kind of just moving forward, what do you expect from them this game? What are your thoughts on, a path to victory and, what are you kind of expecting from them?
Yeah, and I think I think we'll be able to score with them. Like I'm confident that we'll be able put up, amount of points to hang around. But for me, I just have a concern about how long we're going to have to be able to hang around. And, Sutton, like I say, he's questionable. I don't know if that'll, what that looks like, 24 hours, or so out, whether he can play 15, 20 plays or, gonna be not, not playing at all. You don't know how exactly healthy he is, but that to me, that a lot of that of how he can play and how healthy he is going to kind of fall on his shoulders. How I feel like the defense overall is going to be able to, stay in front of this offense because I mean they're high powered. Looking, Dak, 30 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He, MVP type numbers probably would have been, the front runner for MVP. They didn't stumble here the last, month or so, a couple different times. I feel like really it's going to be a matter of the defense just being able to find a way to get a stop or two. Like you said, it can't, we've been fortunate to, get to the quarterback a little bit more often, force some interceptions, some fumbles the last few weeks, but this is one of those things where, we just got to find ways to just like be creative and defensive coordinator will be creative with the play calls and just find ways to get stops. We got to find ways to get them off the field. I will say one thing that does make me feel pretty good is they are pretty one dimensional for the most part. They definitely are more like 70-30 pass to run. They have a really good running back, but watching them, I'm sure you've seen them play quite a bit this year in prime time. You know,
Yep.
Dak is like, he's, what I mean? They're throwing the ball around. They're wanting to throw it, down the field. They're wanting to, everything's really running through him for the most part. So, there'll be opportunities there, to get those stops. But yeah, I think the offense, like their defense has shown, to be leaking a little bit. They've had some teams like the Bills. I mean, I feel like we have a better, offensive line, better run game than the Bills do. The Bills ran for like 200 something on them. The Dolphins are able to run on them a little bit. And we got two, I say the best tandem in the league, ready to go right at them. So we'll definitely be able to hang around for the most part. The defense gonna, I'll be curious to see how long they can hang in there, to give us a shot to win the game.
Yeah, no, I think the easiest way to put it is just we know we're a good team,
Yeah,
but it's the cream rise to the top. We now it is really just a measuring stick of how good we are and what are real expectations for this team. I think we can go out there and beat anybody at any point in time. I think that is the type of team we have.
yep,
Um, but it is a matter of if the cards fall into the right place, if we continue to make the right calls, if we continue to be as aggressive as we need to be, but not crazy aggressive on like fourth down type things, fake punt type situations. So I think I, I guess I'll put it this way: if we go and lose this game, I don't necessarily think that we can't win a playoff game. But if we go out there and win this, it gives me confidence that we can make real noise in January, and
for
we're not
sure.
just a random team. I think this is a
Yes.
very good team, led by a very good quarterback that has a lot to prove.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb is a beast. I mean, back to the Oklahoma days, we've been seeing him take 75-yard slants for the last 10 years of our life. So I think he's a real dangerous weapon. They got Michael Parsons. They got real people who are game changers and difference makers. And so if we
Hmm.
can weather the storm with our random group of bandits, I think that gives me a good confidence moving forward. So I think that's kind of what I'm looking for. It was we really have no business to win this game. I personally think.
I guess.
But if we go out there and do that, then I know that we are the real deal. And when you get back a Sutton, or maybe he does play, if you get back a him fully healthy and a Houston in a couple of weeks and a Gardner Johnson, and then we meet some poor team in January, we can beat the brakes off somebody. But
Yeah.
I am very nervous for this one. Actually, I think it's a big uphill battle for us to go down there and win. Um, but I think it like every week. I think we kind of play that. We've joked before that they try to be like Michigan a little bit, just bully people. I think that
Hmm.
is when we are at our best. Is those two-headed running back attack, play action with one of the best young
Oh
tight
yeah.
ends, St. Brown, you know, 10, 15, 20-yard digs, just getting to work. That is when we are at our best. And then you sprinkle in a JMO over the top or a Jameer
He about
Gibbs,
to get him
something
a,
like that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that
it's coming.
that is the recipe for success. That's the recipe for winning a game or two in January,
Yeah,
in a playoff type of atmosphere. But I think this is the like we said with Michigan. If Ohio was the first playoff game, I say this would be the first one. Where if you win this one, you begin to separate yourself a little bit differently in that seating. People
yeah,
are talking about you differently, on a national level. If you win this one, and then you just got to go and rinse and repeat, do it again versus the Vikings at home. Uh,
yeah.
so, but yeah, I am actually slightly nervous about which unit will show up for us here. So,
Yeah, I mean, this would be a good measuring stick game. You have me thinking just even last year, I think last year the score was like 13-6, like with like 8 minutes left to the third in the fourth quarter. The Lions played Cowboys down in Dallas last year. So this is a measuring stick game. We got a way better team this year we did last year. I feel like now the Lions are always like, we're like the darling of the NFL right now. But I think, we're not, people are still waiting for us to do Lions type things. And the Cowboys talked about in this light, and I think we're like right here. So this is kind of tell
yeah,
us, is it the gap really this open, or is it this wide, or are we like here, or are we here?
yeah,
Are we better? So I wouldn't even say I'll be disappointed if they go out there and just, kind of like, shit the bed. But I think, yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing how they stack up and just seeing, what we what tricks we got up our sleeves to, to just really take it to them and
yeah.
go toe to toe with them.
I agree. Find ways to make it interesting. Not too
Yeah,
much, but yeah.
right. Yeah.
Continue to use these weapons we have.
Hmm.
I agree. Do you want to give a score prediction?
Yeah, yep. Man, I think I'm gonna go like 38-35. I think it's gonna be a shootout. Um, I think we'll find a way to get just enough stops to be able to, go up a score. And yeah, I think we'll steal one from them.
Okay, I like that. I'm gonna go 24-35. I think just maybe a little too much for us going down there. And I'm not hoping on. I just
No, I
gotta
know.
be
Yeah.
realistic and try to reel it all back in. And maybe it'll be like a measuring stick or something to wake us up with, to let us know that hey, this is the recipe for success. Let's get back to that. And then pounce on the Vikings come the week after. But I
Yeah.
think just um, you know not to explain it, but just Cam Sutton being out, D line being kind of pedestrian. I think CD Lamb could get busy on us. I think we got a lot to work against. Yeah,
Yeah. 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 You say anytime your best corner, your defense already leaking oil a little bit, your best corner is questionable. You already look, it's
yeah.
looking a little good
And
on
Gardner
defense already.
Johnson's not played, so I mean you're really down to like your third corner in
Yeah. It's
and whoever
tough.
else. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
might see Branch out there.
yeah,
You never you never know. So
it's possible. I
yeah,
trust him before we sign some dude off the streets, but
for sure. Yeah. I mean, we'll move on to Michigan here, but I'm surprised they haven't really tried him out there as much yet this year, just because I think he played quite a bit of corner outside in college. But
Mhm.
it's good to segue talking about a former Crimson Tide player. Another game, another big game this weekend. I'm on the docket. Got Michigan facing off against Bama in the Rose Bowl. Um, yeah, before you and I hopped on, man, we just really talked about how this this is going to be um, a great test. It's but I'm sure they wouldn't want it any other way, right? They playing one of the national powerhouses. I think it's going to be a good opportunity for them to go out there and shock the world, and not even shock the world. We're the one seed, so I think it's gonna be a good opportunity for them to prove why we deserve the one seed and prove a lot of people wrong. Just as far as who is the best team in the country. So I want to kick it off to you and just see what your thoughts are going into the Rose Bowl overall.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm ready for it. I'm ready just to. I mean, I wish we could have played this the week after we played Iowa. You know what I mean? Like, right after I'm. Um, this is why you're a fan of Michigan. This is why you know, you just pay that close attention to everything. This is what you hope for, an opportunity to go win one of the most historic bowl games in history. Something that I feel like we were kids. I feel like every year we were in this damn thing basically, and then now this is our first time be back in quite a while. So just make it the most of the opportunity. I would say overall, just from the notes, I watched a lot of Bama highlights this week. Watched a couple of random Alabama type podcasters just to see what type of Kool-Aid they were drinking, talking about us. Watched some couple of Michigan podcasters as well, just to see the word on the street. Just kind of looked at their roster in general, and I'm breaking down to a couple of things here. I think the keys to winning for Michigan is we have to make noise with our defensive linemen, in particular, four down line. If we can make noise with four down linemen, stuff the run to a good front, get back there, make noise, sack the quarterback, just keep them happy feet, and not have to send too many extra pieces around. I think that'd be key for us. Just if we go out there with, the same unit the same two units we always use. We got a good roster of D line edge rushers, but whether it's Mason Graham or Kenneth Grant, uh, Jenkins, whoever, just go out there and just hopefully those four guys can keep them at bay.
Yep.
From there, from both lines of the scrimmage, I would say control the line of scrimmage. Same for our offensive unit. If we can maintain and they have to, and make them play outside of their comfort zone when we're on offense. If our offensive line can maintain that front, keep JJ pretty clean, keep the holes pretty fresh, 4 yards of carry, I think is a big thing. Just stay ahead of those chains. And the last big thing, I'm just kind of going big point here, but the last big thing I would say would be just limit the big plays when we're on defense. Make them earn it. Make them, if they're going to score, make them be them slow driving drives. We can't afford to just have them blow the top off the defense and have us have to go right back out there. So that's kind of what I think the keys would be if we can do that. This is our type of game. So I think they can. I mean, I'm talking like we're the underdog, but they're very beatable.
Yeah.
They're very. This is not the Alabama of old, where they're just star studded from top to bottom. They clearly have NFL guys throughout the team. They clearly have difference makers throughout the team, but it's not, where they got a JMO and a Bryce Young and, whoever, Mark Ingram right back. It's not one of those type of teams.
Yeah.
Will Anderson at D line, you know. So I think we just got to go there and take care of business and play our type of game. It's kind of my 1,000-foot view.
Yeah. And I had 3 points, and I mean, it pretty much go right in hand with what you said. I mean, for me, it was like first and foremost, dominate the trenches, both sides of the ball. I think, I mean, you already hit on the head just from a defense standpoint. The more that we can, just send like four, and just stuff the run and just turn them one dimensional. I mean, the quicker we can do that, I mean, the more that that just works in our favor. Because Milrow, I mean, he's a solid quarterback. He does, he can be prone to some mistakes. That was one of his things. They kind of benched him to start the season off. He had quite a few just turnovers, whether it's fumbles or interceptions. He started to kind of clean some of that up going into December, but I do feel like we can do what we can to stuff the run and just find ways to make him comfortable early. That'll definitely bode well for us. And then just from a offensive standpoint, when it comes to dominating the trenches, I saw Auburn. I mean, they had Peyton Thorne at quarterback, run for like 50 some yards, and they gave up. They ran for some yards against Bama. A week before the conference championship, that last week of the regular season, and we know what guys we have. In the backfield, we have one of the best offensive line in the country, at least for the last 3 years, arguably the last 3 years. And I know we're going to be really tuned in with trying to get that run game going as much as possible. And then on top of that, I do feel like this is going to be a game that JJ would, going to have to go win for us as well. I think we're going to be able to run the ball efficiently enough where to keep him honest. But I think there's also going to be, some situations where JJ's going to have to convert a couple third and longs. He's going to have to make a couple big plays with his feet, or make a couple big throws down the field. I had Colson Loveland written down because I do feel like this could be one of them opportunities where
I
um,
agree.
mismatch matchup nightmare. Um, I heard Saban was comparing him to Bowers, just as far as like what kind of mismatch he can be. And they have already been kind of working on their chemistry, throughout this season. And I feel like I can see him having a big game as well, just as far as making those tough catches on third and long, extending drives, whatever that looks like overall. But yeah, I mean, we stayed on here all season long, and it's something that Michigan thrives on. But just the trenches, they've done a great job in the past
Mhm.
3 to 4 years, really just dominating the trenches, and that's obviously catapulted us to success we've had over the last 3 years. So I think it's simple. You know what I'm saying, as far as what they need to do to handle business, and um, overall, I feel like if they can just win the trenches and force Milroe on a couple mistakes, um, they could definitely be able to take care of Bama handedly.
Yeah, no. So I looked at their team, and I think obviously the SEC is the SEC,
Yep.
but we have played a very comparable schedule. We've
Yeah.
played Penn State, I think, is a top five defense in the country. Iowa, top five defense in the country. Ohio State, top 10 defense in the country. Surprisingly enough, Rutgers, 18th defense in the country. So we have played four of our 12 or 13 games have been in it with uh, top of line defenses. Now, every one of
Mhm.
those teams I understand has a different facet to it. Penn State, we just bullied them. We couldn't, but how can you bully a team that's that strong and sound defensive? Literally ran the ball 32 times on the second. Iowa couldn't get anything going offensively, and we just poured it on them slowly and slowly and slowly. Penn State, or sorry, Ohio, they obviously put up the toughest fight, very close game, and but we were still able to maintain that and defend against the best weapon in all college football in Marvin Harrison. So I think we're very battle tested. We have played teams that played very differently in every way. Not to the same level of them, but Maryland. Maryland has a running quarterback, can throw it all over the field. High pressure, high octane, keep getting things going. We were able to maintain that. So we've played in various different type of avenues and different games. And every one of those, we were found ways to win a game, impose our will in whatever way that was. So I think we just have to continue to replicate that here. Clean game from JJ,
Yep.
keep him standing up. Um, Obviously, we're down Zinner, major loss. But hopefully, we have enough time to kind of get that musical chair down right, figure out who we're going to keep in what position, who does what best. Um, Blake, Donovan Edwards, I think those are your recipes to success. Just keep them going, 4 yards a carry. Sneak this in. And we don't do this enough, but now's the time if JJ is ever going to keep it and try to rush for 70, 80 yards in the game. Now's the time. I was very surprised. I looked at his stats. He has like 130 rushing yards this year. I would have, I knew he didn't have that, but I would have swore he had a few hundred. So it seems like he's um, running much more. But I think what he is doing is running at the very pivotal time when we need
It's gonna
that
be
third down, need that
Yeah, it's
fourth
gonna be
down.
better because he's been hurt for the last month too. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if just the difference between basically from the start of the season to like MSU, from like Penn State through the rest of the season. Like he was pretty like one dimensional. So I think that's
Right.
something that numbers for us. Like you hit on the head already there. Get us 60, 70, 80 yards from him. I mean, those are like the secret yards, you know what I'm saying? The
Mm-hmm.
ones that keep the drives going, that could, lead to that could be a 4th and 3, he gets 7, 3rd and 8, he gets 10. Like those could be the ones that just keep drives going and get that, couple extra field goals to add on to the
Mm-hmm.
lead, whatever that may look like at that time.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, and we need a big game from him. He
Mhm.
has been through the fire. This would be his third college football playoff game he's played in. He played all of the wash-up duty in that first game at Georgia. He had a hell of a game and some boneheaded ass mistakes last year versus TCU. So now we've been thrown in the fire versus some Bulldogs literally in your freshman year. Things happened. You lost a very tough game your second year. Now it's time to come and put it all together. The lights shouldn't be so bright. You've been here before. You're literally playing for millions of dollars on the line. You go ahead and win this first game. You can sign your name declared for a draft and you're a top 20 pick. No
Yeah.
questions asked. We know you can run a 4.5. We know you're going to test good. We know you can throw it all over in shorts. This is the weekend where you can get that done. And no
Yep.
Michigan fan is mad at you. You bring us a championship. You get us a Rose Bowl. You dip out. I think there's a lot on the line for somebody like him. There's a lot on the line for somebody like Harbaugh. Taking this throws him into a different caliber. I think now he kind of has that. He's never won a championship, but he's one of those coaches where everybody talks about him in a good light. But if you win a championship, you're into that. That monkey's off your back. People got to put you in the Dabo Sweeney, Kirby Smart, like all those guys get talked about as they're a better coach just because they got that one championship. You get your one championship, now you're pretty much second to Saban as far as coaches go. So I think there's a lot on the line for this whole team, and I think pressure is a good thing. I think you come in here knowing why all you guys came back, knowing what you need to do to, and just how you can let it all slip away so quickly. Whether you get the break speed off of you from the jump like Georgia, or whether you had the game in hand and you lost to yourself at TCU. I think just all that cultivates this win here, I think. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about it. And we can get them. Like Texas, we're more physical than Texas. Texas got it done. Auburn, if Auburn can pound a rock on you and they were a 500 team, I mean, that makes you feel pretty good. Peyton Thorne got kicked out of the Big Ten. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. You're right. No, a lot of great points there. Like I said, this, I think really just to kind of hit it on the head overall, put a button on it is this is not, Bama of old. This Bama can get got, and they've showed some chinks in their armor, this whole season. And yeah, I'm confident that, Harbaugh, that coaching staff, they know how to hit them. And I do feel like we're going to be able to run the ball efficiently. And I think JJ going to have him if we can run the ball for about 100, 120, 125 yards, JJ throw for about 250, one or two touchdowns. I think that's like the formula right there, just to, like keys to victory overall as far as getting it done. Special teams, and that'd be some big too. I know that's somebody that kind of the unsung hero, even in the Big Ten championship game, was Turner. He had 5 field goals. I think he had, a couple over 50. So,
Or even the field goal or the punt
Hunter,
for 80 yards got us our only touchdown of the game, I think. So
yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to just seeing, how we match up. I'm looking forward to, you know, taking them scars from the previous 2 years, turn that into fuel, turn that, taking that and putting together the perfect game plan to take care of Bama.
yeah, no, bro, it's all there for us, man. I think this is just. I know you've probably seen the rumors too. Harbaugh supposedly offered like $120 million deal.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a big moment for the team, big moment for the program, and I think you can. Um, this is the moment nationally that we were at in Ohio State 3 years ago, where if you can
Right.
win this,
Whole
you
world's
can win it,
watching.
the whole
Yeah.
world's watching, and it changes things. It changes the countless eighth graders sitting on the couch that are future 5 stars, future 4 stars. They look at you a little different. The guy who maybe he's in the middle of his sophomore junior year in high school, you're now on his radar. It's
Mhm.
just it's good to you got to win nationally. Big Ten is good. You want to win the Big Ten, but winning nationally is is the
The
real
next
key.
step. Yeah.
Yep, the next step, and it's just been a while since we've done that, so it was good to good to get that back going. And I
Hmm.
think this could be a big, changing of the tide. You come here and put this all together, and people look at you differently as a program. People look at you differently as a coach, as a quarterback, as whoever. You're one of the few that go ahead and knock off the mighty quote unquote Bama. So
Hmm.
um and it this will feel so good knowing all the bull BS they drug us through this year. So no, I'm feeling good about it, man. I'm ready. I'm ready. That's the oddest
Yeah,
time, 1 o'clock or 5 o'clock on top of the year. But when I was a kid, I feel like they weren't 5 o'clock games.
like
Um,
one
yeah,
thirty. Yeah, yeah. ESPN, they still have yet to get the college football playoff right, but nonetheless, um, score predictions. You want to kick it
yeah.
off?
I'll go. Going 28-20, Michigan.
Okay.
I think it'll be somewhere in that. Not a low scoring game, not a shootout, but where we can each find ways to move the ball on each other a little bit. And then we just keep that vice grips on them, squeeze the win out. Yeah, but like I said, 28-20 is what I'm thinking.
I'm gonna go 30-24. I think three touchdowns, few field goals. I think that'll, like I said, that formula, 100 plus yards on the ground. JJ have a clean game, couple touchdowns. Yeah, I think we'll just have just enough firepower to we'll get out early. We'll stay out. We'll stay in front from start to finish. That's how I see things going.
I'll take either one of them. I'll take a 3-0. No, we
All right, yeah.
a 3-2.
Yeah, 3-2. Yeah, 3-2. Oh, seriously. All
uh,
right.
but no, I feel you. We'll be back at it next week.
Yep. Tune
Yes,
in
sir. Go
next
Blue.
time.